Behold, I come quickly. Episode 14, The Second Seal, The Red Horse. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Revelation 6 verses 3-4. As the white horse spreads the Antichrist gospel around the world, the red horse follows behind him with violence in his tread. The rider of this horse was given power by the sovereign God to snatch peace from the earth, causing people to fight each other. The horse's red color symbolizes blood and violence. See references in Nahum 2 verse 3, 2 Kings 3 verses 22-23, and Isaiah 63 verses 2-3. The red color is a clear indicator that much blood will be shed as a result of war. The rider himself carries a great sword, signifying that the intensity of war and violence on earth is magnified. Because the red horse rider carries a great sword, some people claim that the rider is Jesus, since he said in Matthew 10 verse 34 he came not to send peace but a sword. However, in the case of Revelation 6 verse 4, this does not refer to Jesus sending his sword of truth. Remember, these four horsemen are spirits sent forth by God to bring judgment on mankind. The sword is a common symbol of warfare in Scripture, and can be used to represent warfare brought by a good or evil cause. The red horse signifies the spirit of war, and the rider is given a great sword, so as to amplify the effects of war. War is the second subject Jesus spoke about in Matthew 24. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Matthew 24 verse 6. All over the world, we see on the news every form of conflict transpiring, from violent crime to civil war. Chicago is an example of the increased violence that has led to the deaths of thousands. In 2016 alone, 786 homicides were reported in Chicago. Syria is another war-torn country where violence is the norm. Civil war sparked in 2011 when anti-government radicals sought to usurp the Syrian regime ran by Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Troops from Russia came in the country in 2014 to support the Assad regime in combating the rebels. While war may be gradually waning in the country, citizens must keep their guard up because of the constant threat of airstrikes and bombs that have already destroyed much of the country's infrastructure. The Greek word for rumor is akouē, which means a sense of hearing or report. So not only do we hear reports of wars in faraway places, but we may hear the noise of war with our own ears, like for example, gunshots being heard nearby where we live. In the English sense, rumor means a circulating report of doubtful truth. Many wars have been threatened but never fought. The Cold War was merely an endless series of rumors of wars between America and Russia from 1947 to 1991. World War III is an impending war with many rumors concerning its initiation being circulated by news media outlets, putting fear in people's hearts. Jesus told us to not be troubled or anxious by these things, for these things are not the sign of the end of the world. False prophets take opportunities to use certain details and events to prove that the end is near, using Scripture to validate their points. They even set dates they claim are accurately predicted in Scripture. People who listen to such prophets live their lives in constant fear and anticipation, even going to the extent of ending their careers and social lives to wait on these dates. Even when World War III breaks out, this alone does not mean that the end of the world is near. Various other events must take place before then. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Luke 21 verse 10. In the modern English language, it may sound like Jesus is repeating himself in Luke 21 verse 10, but he does make a clear distinction in this passage. Nation derives from the Greek word ethnos, which means nation, and ethnos is similar in spelling as ethnic, which is a population sharing the same racial background, language, culture, religion, or the like. So the word nation in this case really means that different ethnic groups will battle other ethnic groups. The centuries-long conflict between black people and white people, and the battle between Christians and Muslims are two examples of nations rising against nations. Kingdoms relate to what we call nations or countries. There have been numerous wars fought between countries, especially in the last century. For example, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Afghan War, etc. An example of two countries fighting each other is the United States fighting Japan during World War II, after Japan struck Pearl Harbor in Hawaii on December 7, 1941, and U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan. War can come in various forms. Countries such as Syria, Iran, Russia, North Korea, and China are waging war against Christians in the form of persecution. Christians are hunted down in these countries, often thrown in prison or simply executed for preaching the gospel. In North Korea, possessing a Bible is treated as a felony and can result in immediate execution. China recently established a law that forbids the selling of Bibles and Christian books. Because persecution is so intense in these countries, Christians are forced to go underground in order to fellowship and preach the gospel. War will not only exist between countries and ethnic groups, but also between family members. Strife and hatred will keep families divided over various issues, including insignificant ones. Brother will betray sister, husband will betray wife, father will betray son, even unto the death. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. Mark 13 verse 12. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents, and brethren, and kinsfolks, and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. Luke 21 verse 16. Remember, Jesus said in Matthew 10 verse 34 he did not come to the earth to send peace but a sword. The peace the world seeks is not of God, but a false peace given by the devil, a peace that excuses sin. Jesus did not come to send this kind of peace. The peace he gives is one that assures the believer that God is in control of everything that is happening. This is the peace Jesus was referring to in John 16 verse 33 when speaking of experiencing tribulation in the world. The world does not understand this kind of peace, and views Jesus as an enemy when he comes with his sword of truth. Devoted Christians who follow Jesus will be betrayed by their own flesh and blood, because their unbelieving family members will disagree with the godly doctrine. They will hold fast to the false teachers' doctrines, even if it means handing their Christian family members over to the authorities to have them killed, in order to defend the evil doctrines. Jesus said that our enemies will be those who live with us. This includes our parents, children, siblings, and extended family members. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Matthew 10 verse 36. We will see and hear wars and rumors of wars everywhere, and witness nations and kingdoms do battle with each other. But the peace of God prevents us from fearing the calamities that are occurring and are yet to come. Now let's talk briefly about the second angelic beast. The second angel which introduces the second horse is the angel that is like a calf. A calf is a young bull, cow, or ox, and these animals are known for their strength. The ox is a relentless worker that labors from dawn to dusk without much complaint, sometimes working until it dies from exhaustion. In the same way, we should look at the red horse as a relentless and untiring warrior bent on bringing about judgment upon mankind in the form of constant warfare. This concludes this chapter. In the next episode, we will discuss the black horse, the spirit responsible for bringing about famine,